Hello, HitPoint friends. It's Andrew here with another game reaction video. Today, Sony announced their support of indie games. They showed off 9 new trailers, so I'm going to be checking those trailers out and giving you my thoughts. First impressions, I'm really excited for this. I'm excited whenever a big name player gives the spotlight over to indie developers. So let's check this out and see what's happening, starting out with the Carto trailer. It's very cute right off the bat.
PlayStation.
So first impressions, that is a very adorable looking game. I really like maps, so this actually seems pretty interesting to me. I like the mechanics of kind of flipping the tiles around, so it's almost a quasi puzzle game in addition to whatever kind of game it is. Maybe it is a puzzle game, I don't know. But it's very cute. I like the music. It looks very relaxing and enjoyable. And with everything going on right now, a relaxing game sounds like a lot of fun. I'm interested to see what the more developed mechanics are and if there's some sort of story you're supposed to be following. It didn't really look like it just from that brief preview. Maybe some little like quests and activities you have to do for some people. But really interesting to look at. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to be checking that one out more. Let's move on to our next gameplay trailer. This one is Creeks. Visually, this reminds me a lot of Braid. I like the light-based mechanics.
PlayStation.
All right. Interesting ending there. That's another fascinating looking little game. I'm not sure I'm entirely sold on it. I do really like the art style that they're going for. I am interested in some of the mechanics because it looks like once those maybe enemies and other what should be inanimate objects that were moving around chasing the player, once they get into light, it looks like they freeze. So it looks like there'll be some mechanics based around actually trying to use your enemies to move on in the levels, and that does seem kind of cool. I like the little puzzles that they presented. Otherwise, don't have a whole lot of thoughts on that one. It seemed kind of straightforward. Other than, the art style once again looks very nice. But let's move on to Fist, or F-I-S-T.
PlayStation.
Okay, so my thoughts on that one. FIST is a very dumb name that they clearly came up with first and then made the acronym, working backwards from it. But other than that, I think that actually looks really fun. I really like the kind of the 2.5D side scroller beat 'em up genre. I have a lot of fond memories of old arcade games like the I think it's the Metal Slug series. I kind of got a little bit of those vibes. Obviously, not the same in a lot of different ways, but just that general kind of like, oh, this looks like a fun, put a couple minutes in here and there, and just have a fun little action adventure side scroller. Yeah, that looks very very fun, very interesting. I think I might also check that one out. All right, let's check out the next game on the list, which is Haven. Some Breath of the Wild vibes.
I don't think that's the mom.
All set.
Go, go, go!
This one's mine.
Double pick a bubble.
No.
PlayStation.
All right, so that was Haven. I know from some extra reading that is a co-op game, supposed to be, they're pitching it as some sort of relaxing game. I'm interested to see how the co-op mechanics work, because it looked like there was some actual coordination that had to happen there, and I saw some what looked like dialogue options. So I'm not sure how that works. If it's just online, I could see the dialogue options making sense, but if it's like a couch co-op game, I don't necessarily understand the point of the dialogue there. I'm hoping it's a couch co-op game. I'm always on the lookout for games to play with my wife, who's not much of a gamer herself, but we occasionally find a fun game to play, and I'm hoping that is one of them. I was telling her about this earlier, so that certainly looks interesting, and I'm wanting to hear more about it. All right, let's move on to our next one, which is Heavenly Bodies. Oh yeah. I saw this one earlier. All right, I'm really excited for this one, mostly because it looks like QWOP in space, and I don't know if you ever played QWOP. That was a flash game from my high school days, but the game was you use the Q, W, O, and P keys to control the player's body, the character's body limbs. And it was very goofy. You had to basically just run like a 40-yard dash or something like that. I don't fully remember, but I really got a lot of QWOP vibes from that. I love the goofy kind of physics-based approach to the movement, where it's so awkward, and it's obviously trying to be awkward, and that's the fun of it. So that looks like a really fun one, and I'm excited to see more on that. Let's move on to Marquette. Maquette. I don't know. Let's check this one out.
I'd like to introduce a game that we've been working on for the past few years called Maquette. It's a first-person puzzle game set in a world that is nested inside of itself recursively. The player will use these nested recursive worlds to solve a completely unique set of puzzles. Let me show you how this works. Here you can see this big castle, an ornate dome over here, and these towers. The orange cube is blocking our way to the towers. I can't pick it up or move it because it's too big and heavy. But if we go inside this dome, you'll see we have a smaller version of the same world. You can see a smaller castle, ornate dome, towers, and a smaller version of the cube. An exact copy of the larger world is nested inside of the small world. Because this cube is much smaller, we can pick it up and move it around. And when we do that, we can see it gets moved in the regular sized world as well. Now that we have moved the large cube out of the way, we can access that area of the game. Anything that we do in the small world is reflected in the regular world around us. There are a lot of exciting implications to this. It's running in real time, so if we drop the cube here, you can actually see the larger version moving in the regular world. And if you look very closely in the background, you can see another even larger cube moving in a larger world out there. We have a simulation on all these levels of recursion. That was a simple example, but we can do some really cool stuff in unexpected ways using recursion. Here we have a key that we can use to open this door. Once we get inside, we see we have a gap too large to cross by jumping. Maquette asks you to think about new ways to use ordinary objects. In this case, the solution is to take this key, which is tiny, and bring it into the maquette. By placing it across the gap, it can be used as a full-sized bridge in the regular-sized world. We can also take that same key, make it larger, place it on the wall, and now use it as a ramp to get out of the regular-sized world into an even larger world. The game will take you to these worlds and beyond to a larger world where tiny cracks in walls become doorways to enter new areas. These puzzles lead the player through a love story about two people growing together. You will explore the scale of everyday problems in a modern relationship where sometimes the smallest of issues can become insurmountable obstacles. And that's Maquette, a totally unique puzzle experience. We're really excited for you to play this on PlayStation 5 as well as PlayStation 4.
PlayStation.
So I have to say, of all the ones I've seen so far, this game's probably the one I'm most interested in. I have a soft spot for interesting puzzle games, so this one is definitely really catching my eye. I'm interested to see how those recursion-based puzzles work, like going out into the bigger versions in particular. I think that is so interesting. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that. I think they're gonna do some really cool puzzles that are going to be pretty mind-bendy with that. I also like the little story that they've wrapped around the puzzles that you get to sort of discover as you go, or that's what it looks like based on what I saw from that trailer. So that one is really cool. I'm really excited to hear more, to see that when that one comes out, and I think that's going to be maybe not an instant buy for me, but I'm gonna probably be trying to pick that one up pretty quickly. All right, let's move on to Recompile.
This future brighter than a black hole. And I know it's hard to get a read on when's the right time to fall. When's the right time to fall? Slow ride, it's a slow ride. It's a slow ride, it's a slow ride. It's a slow ride, it's a slow ride.
PlayStation.
That one looked really cool. Visually, a very gorgeous game. I really liked kind of the abstract nature of the art design where they're going for. It looks like lots of notes about hacking. So I'm guessing lots of like computer-based type of things that they're representing with those graphics. The action had a very nice look to it. It looked very tight, and it looked like a lot of fun. Yeah, that was really gorgeous. I'm definitely excited about that one as well. Let's move on to Where the Heart Is. This is very chill. Take that back.
PlayStation.
Poor dog. That's interesting. That game looks and sounds kind of sad based on that music and just some of the visuals that were going on there. I don't really understand a whole lot about the game from that trailer. I'm left with more questions than answers, which is not a bad thing, but that just is kind of the reality of what this trailer is leaving me with. Yeah, that seemed a little obtuse, to use a word. Um, yeah, I don't really know what to think about that one. I'm intrigued, I will say. And with that, let's move on to our last game, which is Worms Rumble.
Peggy 12.
Man,
Reloading.
it's Worms.
PlayStation.
All right, Worms. I've never played any of the Worms games, but I did watch the Achievement Hunter Worms videos back in the day, and those are so funny. So I'm intrigued to see this. Interesting direction they're going with it, because the previous Worm games were more of a turn-based game, and this is all real-time combat. So that should be. I could see myself getting lost very quickly in all the action that's going to be happening in this game, and that does seem kind of fun. I got a little bit of a Gang Beasts vibe from it, and I like Gang Beasts a lot. So it's fun to see Worms back. Yeah, I've enjoyed the humor from the series, and I know it's had its ups and downs, but this one definitely looks like a lot of fun. All right, well, that was my reaction to the Sony indie games showcase. Let me know what you thought about the indie games. Which one was your favorite? What are you looking forward to the most? What do you think Where the Heart is about without looking up any more information on it? I'd love to hear your insights. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if that so comes across your way, if you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and keep an eye on your health bar.